Hi, how are you? Good. Nice to meet you.
With the Ann Richards mission statement, I think it really just it tells people what the school's about. So what part of the mission statement resonated with you most in college?
Committing to a healthy and well-balanced lifestyle. I know at Ann Richards that could either mean like so many different things, whether it's like mental health, physical health, eating healthy, exercising daily, but also just being like healthy with like your goals and achievements, like, making sure that you're, setting the right expectations for yourself, but that you're also not kind of pushing yourself over a certain limit. So really making sure you know how to instill like proper balance in your own lifestyle and in your own goals. Definitely make sure to challenge yourself, but also know when you need to, what are realistic expectations, to really keep a balance.
So when choosing your pathway here at Ann Richards, you went the engineering pathway, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so did the engineering pathway help you kind of choose what you wanted to major in college?
Yes, it's actually the reason why I went to where I did, and I'm working where I am now. So kind of a bit of a story. So I remember in middle school we took kind of like a Project Lead the Way STEM class, and during that class we designed bird feeders and race cars in Autodesk Inventor, and that was like my first experience ever with CAD software, so computer aided modeling, and I absolutely loved it. I was like, this is amazing, like this is what I want to do, because I think I knew I wanted to do something in STEM, but I also really liked art and design, and just kind of having that experience of designing and then building my own kind of race car bird feeder, it was just like, wow, I love this. Like, I like everything that I'm doing here. So then that definitely led me to going into the engineering pathway. And in our first year for Introduction to Engineering and Design, we visited Designage, a design company here in Austin that Ms. Lakshmanan arranged for us. And we went there, we met mechanical engineers and industrial designers, and they talked about product development and everything that they did. And we met one of the industrial designers there who showed us his tablet where he was doing these amazing sketches of products that they were developing. And I was like, wow, this is exactly what I want to do. It's like someone, like answered my question, like, is there a job out there where I can do engineering but also do design and art? And so then that kind of like led me down that pathway of investigating more about that type of career. And then I think in 10th grade we visited Pump Studios, another product development company here in Austin, and that's where I'm working now. So it's kind of all come full circle. Yeah. So I'm definitely very grateful for all the experiences I had.
So you went to Pump Studios in high school, and now you work there.
Yes.
So did that kind of like help you in getting your job?
Yes, it did. And I can tell you it did, because after I graduated, I was, you email everybody, you send out your resume everywhere, and usually like if you can find something that's unique to pique somebody's attention, because you have to understand they're probably getting a lot of emails from potential candidates everywhere. So I emailed them, and I think my subject headline was like somewhere along the lines of like Ann Richards alumni visited you, applying for job now, like applying for a mechanical engineering position. And so that piqued one of my boss's interest, and he was like, what, Ann Richards? He's like, yeah, I think I remember that. And so like that's how I kind of introduced myself, like, hi, like I visited when I was in high school, I went to Worcester Polytechnic Institute. I'm a mechanical engineer grad now, and I want to work with you guys. And here's my resume, my portfolio. And they called me back, and he said, like, oh, I saw that you visited us, and I thought that was so interesting. Yeah.
You've graduated from Ann Richards, and you've gone to college, and you have a job now and everything. So what advice would you give to the class of 2021?
It's never going to be always easy, but just remember that, that you can learn new things and that you can learn them and succeed. So kind of just having that self-confidence to like, to remember like, okay, like, I can do this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, just remember when the classes get hard, just remember you went through 6 years of Ann Richards doing all that work. Like, like you can do it. Like you really
Yeah,
can.
for sure.
You know, you can definitely learn anything you want.
All right. Well, thank you so much again.
you.
It was really nice meeting you.
Yeah,
and, like,
it was
getting,
great to meet
yeah,
you
of
too.
course.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so hi, my name's Alexa. It's so nice to meet you,
Oh, it's so nice to meet you too.
even if it's through Zoom. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time here at Ann Richards. We did a little Instagram poll because people knew we were going to interview you. So the first one is, if you could go back in time and do something differently, what would it be?
I would have learned how to be brave, not perfect earlier. You know, I think as like the daughter of refugees, I always felt like I needed to make my parents happy and to do the thing that was going to make them proud, even though it's not what I wanted to do. And so I feel like I spent so much of my life growing up being, gravitating towards the things that I was good at and not trying the things that I didn't think that I could perfectly ace. And so I would have let go of that perfectionism earlier. I would have chased failure. I would have not taken rejection personally. And I would have, constantly put myself out of my comfort zone and learned how to be brave, not perfect.
So, what advice do you have for women who want to go into the STEM field?
To just do it. And we need more women in STEM. And everything about the way that we live and work is being touched by technology, right? Is being shifted and changed. And we need to have young women and women sitting at the table. We need women of color sitting around the table, again, coming up with the ideas of today and tomorrow. And it's like, we need your voices. We need your brain. We need your innovation. And so I'm just so proud that so many of you are going to be pursuing, STEM as a career. And I guess my piece of advice for you is like, don't give up. You may walk into your college classroom and you may be the only one. You may be the only Latina, right? Yeah. And you may not see people who look like you, and you may think, well, you don't belong. You do belong, and you are standing on the shoulders of giants. Your siblings, your sisters, your nieces, who look at you and say, well, she did it. Alexa did, so I can do it too. And so never give up. Never let anybody tell you that you can't do something. And just recognize that you are part of this enormous movement of change of women who are going to be creators and innovators. You still get to make mistakes. Part of what we do, I think, as women of color who are the first, same with me, right? I was the first. My parents came to this country as refugees, and like I didn't have the luxury of feeling that I could mess up or, fall down. And that pressure sometimes is too much. And recognize that so much about failure is a privilege. Most of those guys, their company's funded, they get funded because they've made a lot of mistakes, and like you learn from mistakes. And so I think you feel the pride in being the only one and being that Latina, but also feel the strength that like there's a entire community that is lifting you up for your successes and for your failures.
So, Girls Who Code is specifically to teach young girls how to code because we're not pushed as much as boys. What do young girls and women need to realize about coding to be successful?
That, coding is about, iteration. It's about failure. It's about that annoying semicolon being in the wrong place, and you get to do it again and again and again and again. And what's so great about it is that it allows you to build that bravery muscle. I also think in this past year has been such an example that like technology is about about the way we live and work. Things are moving so fast. Things are changing so fast. Barack Obama used to always say that the last jobs left will be the humans who are telling the computers what to do. And there's something really true there, that this is a skill set you have to learn. And it matters that we're not sitting around the table. I love to wear these hoops. And when I put my Apple AirPods on, what happened? Clink, clink, clink. So annoying, right? Invariably someone is like, what is that sound? And I'm like, it's my hoops. But the thing is whoever built, the team of engineers that built these Apple AirPods, they didn't wear hoops. So they couldn't have thought that a device that they built would not actually work for half the population. So this is happening every single day, right? That innovations are being made, built, created that are going to affect us. And we don't have a voice, and we need to have a voice. And that's why I think it's so important, to learn how to code. Even if you don't become an engineer or a software programmer, but maybe you want to be an entrepreneur. And the thing you want to build plays on technology. Like you want to not take yourself out of that running, right? Or not build that incredible creation because you don't feel like you can see the way that it's going to come together. So having a technical mind, understanding computer science is so critical because it's like basically learning how to problem solve, which I think you need for whatever you do.
So, you know, many young girls and women look up to you as a leader. So what do you want those young girls and young women to take away from your leadership?
That it wasn't always perfect, that I made a lot of mistakes and I failed a bunch, and that every day, is a struggle. And that oftentimes, like I always say, like if I had applied for the Girls Who Code CEO job, I never would have gotten it. I ran for office twice, lost twice. Sometimes you have to create your own organization, company, vision, and the fact that you might not get hired for a job that you're plenty qualified for oftentimes has very little to do with you. So build it yourself.
So those are all the questions I have. I mean, if you wanted to add anything else.
This is great, Alexa. It was wonderful talking to you.
Yeah, of course. It was wonderful talking to you.
Where are you going to school? Do you know where you're going to college?
Well, I'm still debating between two schools. I am thinking of going to Texas Tech University or the University of Houston. I'm waiting on this scholarship, so like if I get it, then
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
That's so wonderful. Well, make sure you stay in touch.
Of course.
Wherever you end up is exactly where you're meant to be.
Of course I will. All right. Well, thank you so much for doing
You're
this
welcome.
interview
Take
with
care.
us. Of course. All right.
Bye.
Goodbye.